And this edition of Channel 8 News, Michael Khan presents this feature.
The name Nareema Alli certainly rings a bell in the wider community by virtue of being a news presenter and reporter for Channel 8 News at DTV8 for the past 6 years. But who exactly is Nareema? She is the third of 5 daughters of Mohid Ali and Rohani Gaj, and was raised in the rural community of Vryhead Village, West Kanji, Berbice. Nareema attended the Lokaba Nursery School and the St. Teresa's Primary School, then completed her secondary education at the New Amsterdam Secondary School.
Growing up as the middle child meant that I was always in trouble, so I would always be in the yard, either climbing Granny's guava tree, which I was often scolded for. I would be in the trench trying to catch crabs with the butter dish or fish, and because I had younger siblings, they would also follow me. So I was always getting scolded as a young child. I attended the St. Teresa's Primary School in New Amsterdam, and there I would have written the NGSA examinations and obtained 507 marks and a place at the St. Joseph High School. I was also presented with an acceptance letter from PC, but because of the distances of both schools there, my family and I opted to send me, or for me to pursue my secondary education at the New Amsterdam Secondary School, where I graduated in 2017 as a student from the science stream with 10 subjects.
The 23-year-old who recently graduated with a bachelor's degree in the area of agriculture at the University of Guyana Berbice campus, as part of a post-graduation interview, then added,
I have 2 older sisters, so they were kind of like the example for me, because they always would excel in classes, or you would always hear them talking about this assignment and that assignment, and because I was the younger one, I was not allowed to get involved with those things. So I mean, education on a whole in our family is very important, and for my parents, they would always say that the one thing they could give us that no one could take from us was an education, and I guess that's something that always stuck with us. So that was basically motivation in itself, to always reach for higher heights, never think that you can't do something, because our family unit, we're very supportive towards each other, and we would always encourage each other no matter what's happening around us.
On the topic of mentoring, Nareema said,
Miss Andrea Mangra, she was very instrumental in my performance at the NGSA, because I would have never attended any type of lessons. Miss Mangra took it upon herself to have remedial classes in the afternoons for myself and about 3 or 4 other students. So I guess I could say thank you to her for setting that stepping stone for me, and she would always encourage me that, you know, one day I would be someone great. And then moving into high school, the other teacher that would have always encouraged me and always saw my potential was Miss Jack. I remember vividly a few weeks before the CSEC examinations, Ms. Jack concluded a class, and she kept me back in the class, and she was like, Nareema, I noticed that you've been very playful in the past few weeks, so this is your warning to pick up your books and to, you know, be a little bit more serious. So I mean, Ms. Jack has always looked out for me in my university studies. My siblings, they have always been there for me to rant to, because the university, especially the online classes, it was very stressful. So their words of encouragement and staying up with me even late in the nights to complete those assignments, it was very much appreciated.
So at what point a career choice was made?
I was inspired by my own grade 6 teacher. I saw the commitment that she was making to ensure that, you know, she was spending some more with us for the remedial classes, and at that point in time I wanted to be a teacher, but a few years later down the line I wanted to be a part of the agricultural science stream. I was thinking more along the line of veterinary health science, but I ended up going into the science stream. It was only maybe till around 2019 or maybe 2018 that I decided that, you know, I didn't want to do that anymore, and I wanted to focus a little bit more on agronomy and plant science.
Instead of moving on to the sixth form level to do the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination CAPE, the young graduate sought employment and became a media worker.
I didn't want to attend CAPE as an option. I wanted to go to agriculture right after CXC, but my parents didn't see that as something they wanted me to pursue. So after being home for a few months, the activities that I was engaged in, either doing a few household chores or, gardening or so forth, it was a bit repetitive. So one day while throwing back in the house watching TV, I saw an ad for a reporter, and I just wrote the letter. I sealed it in an envelope and I asked my mom to drop it at DTV, and here I am today. The first few weeks and even months as being a young reporter in the field of journalism, where in Berbice there are a lot of experienced persons here, it was quite intimidating at first, and it was challenging because, I felt like I wasn't as versed as the other reporters or as eloquent either. Learning every day, and I think I'm still improving as the days go by.
Were there any challenges while having a job and reading at the university?
The agriculture program at the University of Guyana is a full-time program, meaning that I would have classes almost all day some days. And journalism is something that you would get called out at any point in time, and you'd have to cover the event. The only challenge I would say that I had with work and school was time management, where I had to make a schedule and stick to it, where I would have classes and then time for work. So I had to make some sacrifices in terms of coming a bit earlier to finish off my reports, or maybe staying a bit later in the office than expected.
Speaking of memorable experience, Nareema said,
one memorable thing I could say about reporting is the difference I get to make through telling a story. And a typical example is one day in New Amsterdam, it was raining incessantly, and myself and a cameraman from DTV decided to take a drive around the town of New Amsterdam, and we noticed that a certain facility within the town was flooded, and it was a health facility, and the personnel there, they told me to go in, and they would have expressed their frustration to me, saying that this has been an issue going on for years, and this is what they had to face almost every time it rained, and not only them working there but also the patients that would go. And I had done a report highlighting that issue, and 2 days after, when I visited after the rain would have continued, the nurses were there just happy to see me and thanked me so much for highlighting that issue, because the next day they said that the facility, they had someone there to check it out and cleaning the drains and so forth. So being able to make that type of a difference just by airing their story was something that always resonated for me.
So what's next for Nareema Alli?
I always think that the title Dr. Nareema Alli has like a nice ring to it, so I will definitely be working towards that. But first, of course, I can't jump the gun. I'll have to read for my master's before pursuing a doctorate. Most likely, I would like to stay focused on the area of agronomy, if not probably water and water conservation and management.
She then mentioned,
I would definitely miss reporting because I like to be in the loop of things, and I like to see things unedited as it happens. So moving away from journalism would take that away from me, so I would definitely miss all the unedited scenes, all what's happening, knowing about it as it happens, and not maybe a few hours or days after. I am satisfied with everything thus far. I do not regret any decision not to start my degree earlier, or in my decision not to pursue CAPE studies. Everything happens when it's supposed to.
what if there was a chance to choose a different career path?
I was always inclined towards the agri sector, because I basically grew up in a home where we always had something growing in the yard, and my father made it mandatory for us: land preparation, setting up drips, harvesting, planting, post-harvesting, everything we were a part of. So I guess that probably stuck with me the most. So it would have always been something in the agri sector, if not agronomy.
An interview can never conclude without words of inspiration.
If that's what you really want to do, you should do it. No matter if they're younger persons than you or older persons that might seem like they know a bit more than you, just be prayerful, persevere, and be consistent in your studies.
The management of DTV8 joins this reporter in extending congratulations and best wishes to Miss Alli as she continues to climb higher up the academic ladder. Many congratulations also for being the best graduating student in the field of agriculture. Michael Khan, Channel 8 News.